Hey guys, welcome to the Hez Project channel. I'm John Ortolaza, and we're going to be talking about The Mandalorian Season 2 premiere. The gods from Disney, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, they have gifted us finally with The Mandalorian Season 2. Guys, it was worth it. Now this episode was almost an hour long, like 20 minutes longer than the previous season's episodes, and I think that was pretty good. I think that was a pretty good decision. We all wanted more Mandalorian, of course. Those 30-minute episodes were kind of not enough for me last time. They still had a lot of great content in it, but I kind of like hour-long stuff. That's just my opinion. Although Cobra Kai does really dope 30-minute episodes. But that's for another day. This episode opens up with Baby Yoda and Mando strolling through the dark. They get into this Coliseum-like building where they're doing some sort of intergalactic wrestling with two of the green creatures from the Return of the Jedi. They're fighting with battle axes, and people are just watching them. It's freaking awesome. It's two of my favorite things, Star Wars and wrestling. But getting right to it, Mando reveals that he is looking for a Mandalorian. Any Mandalorian, anything that he can find to help him, guide him in this journey to find Baby Yoda's people. So the guy who's running the galactic wrestling, he tells him he has information on one Mandalorian on Tatooine. But Mando says, I was just there not too long ago. There's no Mandalorians there. So I assume one of the planets from Season 1 is Tatooine. They're all sand rocks. It's whatever. But no, the guy swears to him that there's a Mandalorian on Tatooine, so Mando leaves him for dead, and then he goes to Tatooine. So we see Mando and Baby Yoda return to that one lady's little junkyard. I'm terrible with names, especially with Star Wars names. Unless you are like the main character, dude, your name is in one ear, out the other, bro. The one lady who really, really loves Baby Yoda, because who doesn't? I mean, come on. You know, I don't have to go over this. She shows Mando an old map of Tatooine before the war, so I'm assuming before the wars in the original trilogy. She shows him different settlements in which he could find this Mandalorian that the other guy was talking to him about. He travels to one of the settlements, and then he finds it's kind of deserted. There's a little bit of a people there, but it's very small, very tight, and he goes into this bar. This alien bartender's like, can I help you, sir? And he's like, I'm looking for a Mandalorian. He's like, you mean the Marshal? And then I'm like, the Marshal? We turn around, we see someone at the doorway, and at first I'm like, that's Boba Fett. That's Boba Fett. But no, this dude is like 8 feet tall. And it looks like he's wearing baby armor because Boba Fett was a smaller guy. His physique just doesn't fit with the armor. He's wearing Boba Fett's chest plate and his helmet and his jetpack. And this dude was clowning us. I thought he killed Boba Fett for a second. I was like, who is this dude? What importance does this guy have? So we're slowly starting to feel for this Marshal guy. He's telling us a story with the Tusken Raiders always raiding their village, and this one particular group, I can't remember their names, they took over like immediately after the second Death Star blew up in Return of the Jedi. He then took these crystals and fled for his life when these raiders turned his village into a slave camp. He runs into Jawas. Jawas find the crystals. They're like, ew, crystals. And then, they're like just murmuring the actual name of it, which I thought is freaking hilarious. But they're like trying to barter with him, giving him things. Just like, oh, take this. Take this. He's like, I don't want any of this crap. But he sees the Mandalorian armor that belonged to Boba Fett. Now, nobody knows that. Maybe Mando knows that, but I guess that's kind of a code, maybe part of the code, where if you see Mandalorian armor that doesn't belong to someone, you take it from them. So he's telling them that he can either hand it over, or he's gonna take it from him. And then this sand creature just comes right through the village, eats one of their animals, and he's like, alright, you can have the armor, but you gotta help me take that thing out. So Mando and the Marshal find this cave where the dragon is living in, and they also run into these Tusken Raiders. You know the Tusken Raiders, the Sand People from the original Star Wars. They were in the second movie as well, Attack of the Clones, and they were also in the first season of The Mandalorian. They were also the people that the Marshal was referring to, the ones that raided his village multiple times. Mando, of course, knows how to speak their language, and he barters with them. He's like, yo, you guys help us out, we won't mess with your crap either. Although he didn't tell the Marshal until afterwards that, oh, I offered your village to help us, with this monster. And he's like, alright, what can possibly go wrong? So the villagers and the Tusken Raiders gathered together all of their weapons, all of their explosives. They traveled back to the cave where they saw the dragon. They set up these catapults with spears so that they can shoot at the dragon and hold it in place, because all they've been able to do so far is drag out the dragon for just merely 10-15 seconds, and then it goes right back into its hole. I thought it was cool that Mando could bring these two peoples together. The score by Ludwig Göransson is absolutely freaking awesome. I love this score. It's too good. It's just so epic. It's so thrilling. It just captures me every time it starts playing. So going back to this main part where both groups are working together to take out and draw out the dragon, this part turns into an IMAX scene. Yes, the black bars, the ratio just fades away, goes away, and the whole screen gets filled with Star Wars content. I believe for the first time. I don't recall I've ever seen that in a movie or any of the TV shows. Maybe Clone Wars or Rebels. Again, I haven't seen all of it. But this main event scene, the ratio went away and IMAX came to a galaxy far, far away. To see this in IMAX was so freaking awesome, dude. So the first round of explosives on the dragon didn't do anything. It just angered it. And it started making it pop out of all over the place. Out of the mountains. Out of the mountains behind them. It was just unpredictable. And then it started spitting out like acid at them. An acid spitting dragon in Star Wars. I have no words. The Marshal says to Mando, so what do we do now? And he's like, plan B. And then they just get on their jetpacks, fly up to the mountain, start shooting at it. It's doing nothing to the dragon. So they're just trying to confuse it and all. They see they have explosives on one more of their animals. They're like, I got one more idea. So Mando pushes the Marshal out of the way, and he just stands there holding the animal in place because the animal got loose a little bit, so it was trying to run away. It saw it was about to get eaten, so it's like, oh, shoot, better get out of here. But Mando stops it. A little bit of animal cruelty, but it kind of goes against the message from The Last Jedi, if you ask me. But nonetheless, Mando's holding this animal in place, sees the dragon coming towards him, and he's just like, yeah, eat me. I dare you. Mando is just so confident holding the animal with the explosives in one hand and just staring at it, the dragon with the detonator in the other hand, and he just eats him. He just gets eaten, and that's it. Baby Yoda starts crying. The Tusken Raiders and the village people, they all just start crying. I'm totally joking, of course. The dragon shoots out of the sand. Mando shoots out of its mouth, flying on the jetpack. He detonates it, and then he just dies. They finally killed it. And then the Tusken Raiders just have at it with this dragon. They're just picking away all of its bones, all of its meats. And hell, even Mando and Baby Yoda take a chunk of it home with them too. So the Marshal finally gives up the Mandalorian armor, the armor that belonged to Boba Fett. He's like, you've earned it, man. But don't tell anyone I broke that. Because, when he pushed him aside, he broke the jetpack, I think, or maybe one of the tanks back there. Man, Boba ain't gonna be happy about that. Which I couldn't stop thinking throughout the entire episode. Why does this tall, slender man have Boba Fett's armor? Where is Boba Fett? What'd you do to Boba Fett? How long did you have this? Tell me now. I want answers. But nonetheless, we didn't get any answers from the Marshal. At the last minute we saw him. We just see Mando and Baby Yoda riding the speeder back with their big old chunk of dragon meat. The sun's setting. It zooms out, and it shows a figure on a mountaintop. He's bald, he's got this big old cape and two guns going behind him. It turns around, and it's Boba freaking Fett. Boba Fett is alive. He didn't die. The Jawas didn't harvest his bones or anything. They just found his armor, I guess. Or maybe he sold their armor. Whatever the story is, it doesn't matter. Boba Fett is alive, and he's living on Tatooine. And it makes me think he's the guy who saved the Asian woman from the first season in the Gunslinger episode. It's just, it has to be. It has to be, man. But Boba Fett, dude. And hopefully we get more development into his character than we did in any other installments, because I love the look of Boba Fett. I've always thought he was one of the coolest looking characters. He has never been a real character in my eyes. He's really just been on the side of the side characters in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. You saw how quick Han Solo jobbed him out in the Return of the Jedi? That. I hope we don't get anything remotely close to that. And I gotta give a quick shout out to all the visuals in this episode. They were freaking awesome. You gotta wonder that first season was such a success. The studio just threw Jon Favreau all of the resources they possibly could to make the next season blockbuster. And they're doing that. If any of the next 7 episodes are remotely close to this one, I think we'll be just fine, guys. Thank you guys for joining me on this review of the season premiere of The Mandalorian Season 2. What'd you guys think about the episode? If you saw it, comment down below, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you like listening and seeing my ugly mug, and be sure to stick around because there's always more to come.